Hey guys, it's Yuzora, and today we are going to talk about the Tromp, the new Tier 10 Dutch destroyer. So, well, the Tromp, it's quite a unique destroyer to say the least. Because she is, well, at least for now, the very first destroyer to be able to use the Dutch airstrikes. I'm saying for now because I'm pretty sure at some point in the future we'll get a Dutch destroyer line with all DDs able to use the airstrikes as well. But yeah, in the meantime, Trump is the only one. And overall, well, it's a bit of a mixed bag. There are moments where she's incredibly strong and fun to play, and others where I'm like, why am I still here? Why do I have to suffer? But yeah, she's really situational if you ask me. Now, let's begin with the beginning. When it comes to her airstrikes, they are quite different from those of the Dutch cruisers. So, the first thing to know about them is that when the planes reach the drop area, their bombs will not be falling super slowly. No, instead they are just dropping basically instantly. Which is actually pretty useful because it allows you to hit with a good consistency even cruisers maneuvering, and to also catch off guard destroyers camping in smoke. Also, all the 72 bombs, well, at least up to 72 bombs, will be dropping in a pretty small area. So, yeah, if you get the lead, the proper lead, you will hopefully get some pretty good numbers out of them. Also, they reload just super fast. If I remember correctly, I can get the reload down to 48 seconds, and that's without counting adrenaline rush. So, yeah, quite the spammable armament. Now there is just a little catch. The problem is that these bombs are only able to penetrate 20 millimeters, which is not a lot. But that means that overall, you truly want to be aiming like exactly at the superstructure of enemy ships, as otherwise, outside of stuff like the British light cruisers that you can, well, you can literally nuke them. Not even joking, there are times where I could just get 20k plus drops on a British light cruiser not paying attention. It was quite brutal. And otherwise, as I was saying before, if you find yourself in range of a destroyer that is just happily camping in a smoke, spamming whatever is in range, well, if the guy isn't paying attention, it's a pretty big surprise. Because yeah, as you can see, the dropper is pretty small, and if he doesn't react in time, well, he'll be a bit nasty. But yeah, overall, they are a bit more technical to use compared to those of the Dutch cruisers because of the low penetrations. Really, you want to be aiming for that superstructure, or maybe if it's already on fire, you can aim for the bow or the stern so that you can get an additional fire. Other than that, yeah, it will generally be your main source of damage. Now, besides the airstrikes, the Tromp Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. It's a gunboat destroyer.
Torpedoes on backboard.
She has actually, honestly, pretty solid main armament. She has 6 guns with 152mm caliber. So in the first place, you're getting a pretty juicy 30mm of penetration with HE. And also, as you can see here, on, well, 8 kilometers and such, you can get some pretty good salvo on light cruisers. Otherwise,
Kruiser gedetecteerd.
don't be afraid on battleships to switch to AP and get it flying on their broadside. You will also get some pretty good numbers.
Torpedoes on backboard.
Now, it's by no means a perfect main battery. But it isn't even... well, sorry, a perfect gunboat. And it's not even because of the main battery itself,
Geactiveerd.
it's because of the hull. Because this ship, it is sluggish. As in, the base speed, it's at 33.5 knots, which is not fast at all. And the moment you turn just a bit, it's like the guys are hitting the brake. You're losing so much speed when turning, it's insane. So, considering that she doesn't have a smoke, she doesn't have a Reaper party, you definitely want to have a proper idea of when and where you want to engage stuff. Because if you're kinda alone or that your team is sitting a bit too far at the back, you might be able to reach 28,000 HP. Well, it will not last long, let's put it this way. That's why, generally speaking, it is wiser to wait for the...
Motorversterking
how's it
gedeactiveerd.
called now? Emergency engine power, so the special variation of engine boost, to be available, as at least it will give you some really good speed. You will still struggle to maintain it when turning, but that's honestly not a buff you can spit on. Now, for another thing to keep in mind, the firing angles aren't the greatest, especially when kiting. If I remember correctly, it's at 42 degrees when kiting. So yeah, once again, she's mostly limited by her the hull itself rather than the main battery. Because yeah, as a whole, the main battery it's pretty good. I think, if I remember correctly, the DPM it's just a bit shy of 150,000, which is better than the Delny or the Kleber without main battery booster, for example. And yeah, since you have the 30mm of penetration, you can also hurt cruisers quite nicely if you can. But yeah, the main problem is that she's just so damn sluggish. Now,
Motorversterking geactiveerd.
I was complaining, well, not really complaining, but stating the fact that she only has 3 torpedoes per side.
Opgelost, kapitein.
But honestly, these torpedoes are still doing... well, they are still a nice tool to have available. Because, well, it's only 3 per side, they reload fast at... well, the base reload at 70 seconds. And they have a very good range, as well as a low reaction time. So for area denial and crowd control, especially combined with the airstrikes, they happen to be a fairly effective tool. Now, on a quick word when it comes to the consumables. Well, as I was saying before, outside the emergency engine power, this ship is just bare boned. She has no smoke, she has no river party. She has defensive anti-air? I guess that counts. But how should I tell you
Motorversterking gedeactiveerd.
that among all destroyers that exist at tier 10, she's easily the one that deals with carriers the worst. Because the problem is that, just like Kleber and Sommers, as far as I remember, they are the only other
Vijandelijke kruiser.
destroyers without a dual purpose main battery. She doesn't have a long range anti-air, so you can't even hope with the defensive AA fire active that you will face some bad carrier that will just be taking a lot of flak damage. No. No. It will just be the medium range and the close range anti-air with the constant DPS. And I can guarantee you, even with the defensive AA fire active, you won't be shooting much planes. Like, unless I have really no choice and it's a carrier going straight at me, I'm just keeping that anti-air turned off because it's just a good way to get spotted and that's it. The DPS just won't make any sort of difference. At best, we'll shoot down 2 or 3 planes from a dive bomber squadron that needs to be really deep inside your anti-air. But even then, it will just not save you at all. And as I was saying before, she also has poor maneuverability. So yeah, she's an incredibly easy target for planes. It's not like Sommers, which is fairly nimble and also has the smoke. It's not like the Kleber, which has insane speed. She just doesn't want to face carriers. Now, for the rest, Concealment is pretty good, which makes it easier to use and abuse the Airstrikes. You can get it down to 5.9 kilometers. I mean, it isn't outstanding, but it's still quite nice. It allows you to close the distance and get in proper position to just bomb the crap out of battleships that will be in range or in cruisers. You just... you will just struggle a bit, because even though you have a good concealment, as I said, the ship is super sluggish. So if you end up in matches where just everything is kiting away, or you're getting zoned out by radars or just as a whole stronger gunboat destroyers, yeah, as I was saying before, you will just struggle to get anything done. Doesn't matter if you have a pretty good concealment, the agility of the ship cut close range if you get caught off guard. Yeah, that will be rough for you. If it's anything else than a gunboat destroyer or something that is easy to hit and doesn't have that much firepower. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. So, Tromp will be available as part of a special event. I don't have much information about it for now. But at the start, with this event, she will only be available for doubloons for a price of up to 38,450 doubloons, which is a lot of money. She will, with that package, come with a 12 points commander, but you are able to get up to a 50% discount by spending free XP. You can spend up to 1 million free XP to get a 50% discount going on our doubloon price. Now, personally, I would definitely not
Overwinning is binnen bereik.
spend that much cash on her, especially since, as I explained throughout this review, she isn't exactly what I would call noob friendly. It's a pretty technical destroyer to handle because you have no mistakes to be forgiven when it comes to positioning. The airstrikes need to be aimed accurately. So not exactly the ship I would recommend to anyone. Now, if you are a big fan of the ship, yeah, I guess sure, go ahead. Overall, like, yes, she's definitely situational, but I can't exactly call her a bad ship.
Vijandelijke torpedobootjager
It,
getorpedood.
it's an awkward ship, that's for sure, but I can't call her bad. Because while there are definitely games that you will be struggling like hell, even though you will struggle, you will still be able to somewhat get some influence on the game. I mean, just having one or two airstrikes landing on a destroyer, or getting a battleship on double fire again, which spots him for your team and they can just then farm into crab. That can already do some pretty big change on the game. But yeah, I was completely losing track. Yeah, other than that, with the next update, she will be available for 238,000 coal. So, considering how fast it will arrive, definitely wait for it. Anyway, that's all for me. See you guys.